We're here at the tasting room at Château Lafite Rothschild together with Monsieur Chevallier, who is the estate manager for Lafite Rothschild and the other domains. Monsieur Chevallier, how do you see vintage 2011?
2011 was quite a difficult vintage in the vine growing, which is not exactly the average that we have year by year, with a very dry period at the beginning, and then after that some rainfall at the time of the flowering, which is not so great, of course, at this time. Hot temperature in June, and after that the temperature was going down in July, August, and some places were affected by a very dry period. Here in Pauillac, not so. We had enough humidity in the middle of August, so the vineyard was very green and healthy to grow the grapes in nice condition, but with a part of botrytis, which was at the beginning of September. So we had to be very careful on the maturity process of the grapes to reach the top level in the tannic part and the maturity of each component of the grapes, but at the same time to control all the disease, especially the botrytis, because it can come, and when it comes, it's very quickly generally.
And what will characterize the wine from Lafite Rothschild this vintage 2011?
I think that this vintage is not so opulent wine in regard to 09 or 10, with a lower level of alcohol, which is interesting for the drinkability of the wine. But at the same time, there is a very good balance between all the components, and there is a good maturity of everything. It's quite fresh, fruity, not very expressive now, but it's young, of course. We have to wait. But it's probably a wine that, with a good structure, ready, I think, to be drunk for the Grand Vin in 10-12 years. So it's not really an earlier vintage, if you want, where you can drink it quite quick.
Can you compare vintage 2011 to another vintage in time?
No, for me it's impossible to compare, because I am too much inside the production, and I want to say it's like babies, you see them growing day by day, and it's impossible to compare, to say which one is more intelligent or more physically well made, and then so on. So no comparison from one vintage to the other.
You also have a great experience been working at Lafite for quite some time. What is so special about Château Lafite Rothschild?
For me, it's a story. I've started here in '83, so it's a long period, and blending with the Château Riosec in Sauternes, Château l'Évangile in Pomerol, which is very interesting to mix, in fact, the different technique of work. But the secret of Lafite is coming from the soil, from the exposure. That's the main thing. After that, it's a question of a lot of details in the vineyard, also in the winemaking process. There is not a big secret. There is not something that the other people don't use. Everybody is working in the same way, but a lot of little details that make the difference at the end.
What is the specific type of soil you have here at Lafite Rothschild?
The main part of the estate, 110 hectares in production actually, is with gravel soil. Those stones coming from the Pyrenean mountain and Massif Central mountain, coming by the river, in fact. And There is a part with sandy part, calcareum, clay, where we can mix the different varietal of vines. Merlot all the time is better in clay soil than in gravel soil. That's why there is 70% of Cabernet Sauvignon here in Lafite, because the main part of the soil is gravel, where we know that the Cabernet Sauvignon is in very good conditions.
Did Cabernet Sauvignon perform extremely well in 2011, or is there any other grape that performed well during this vintage?
Well, you know, we grow the four varietal Cabernet Sauvignon, the most important, 25% of Merlot, a little part of Cabernet Franc and Petit Verdot. In the definitive blend of the Lafite this year, it's only Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. 85 Cabernet Sauvignon, 15 Merlot. In some other vintage we use a part of Cabernet Franc, which is very delicate, very feminine part, if you want, of the wine. This year Cabernet Franc was going in all the different testing till the last level, but it was not recognized at the last moment. So we use the Cabernet Franc in the Caruade, in the second quality wine.
How long have you been producing Caruade Lafite?
Oh, Caruade is a very old story for a very long time, and I don't know, from the beginning of the 20th century it was in the production.
Thank you very much, and cheers.
You're welcome, and enjoy the wine.